Hi guys, welcome to Novus Marketing Solutions, and in this video we're just going to show you how to add a blog page to a Wix website. A blog page is quite helpful for a lot of budding businesses. This does allow you to get analytics right for Google and helps with Google search engines. So blogs are quite important. Adding a blog page to a website is quite easy. You simply go over to your plus or add, click, and of course down on the list of interactivity you've got blog. All you need to do is to add this to your site. Now when you add a blog to your site, it will create both the blog page and it will also create a members site section to your website as well. Now that we've created the blog page, if we go over to your pages tab, you'll notice that the blog now appears as a separate page, allowing you to do separate SEO settings. You'll also notice that you've created a members page. Now members pages are useful. They tend to get created by Wix automatically when you add a blog or store to your website. Members pages can all be set up individually. You can even turn members pages off. You don't actually have to have a members page on your site for blogs. It's mainly so people can leave descriptions or leave comments on the actual blog posts themselves. If we just go back to our blog itself, when you first load up the blog onto your site, you'll notice that it'll appear straight away in the middle brackets, which is normally the best brackets for majority of screen settings, and it will appear with a white background. What you need to do on this to try and change it to your site is of course change it upon the blog settings. The blog settings are not the normal way of adding to Wix. When you add Wix, you can normally just click a section, fill a color, add a block, add text. It doesn't really work like this with blogs. Blogs are set up so that when you enter and create a post, it will automatically generate the post at the top of everything else, and it will just keep your content fresh and loaded. So to change your settings on your blog, you need to go into designs and layout. Now on the initial page for your layouts, this is where you can actually change how your blog is going to appear. A lot of people will put a blog on a stretch. Now if you put it to a stretch to a full width, what the blog will do, it will compensate when people are using different screen sizes and screen resolutions. So when they come onto your site, everything will still be on the front of their page, and rather than it being everywhere. If we go back into settings and change some of the layouts, this will take the stretch into consideration. So the particular screen that I'm using, this will then stretch it across the entirety of the screen, whereas when you do a side-by-side or tiled effect, it'll just try and keep it to the center of much more to the center of the page as possible. If we now go from here on to design, this is where we can start changing how the blogs will appear on our page. Now because of course we've got quite a nice background on this test site, I'm really wanting the background to be shown, to show through on this blog page. So if we knock our opacity and color down to 0, you will see all of our background image is appearing through the blogs, and then the blogs themselves will appear in boxes. This again will change on your layouts, and whatever you click in your design will stay throughout your entire blog page. Now when it comes to sort of your menus, it's quite an easy one to change. You can change your background color to 0. That will again get rid of any particular background that you have. If you're wanting to just increase it and give yourself a little bit of a header space, very similar to what you would have for your actual header itself, then you can just change opacities. You can even change colors on here. So if I change this to a pale mustard, I think we've got a red or black. But it's completely up to you at this particular part how you want your blog page to look. I'm going to knock this down to 20%. Your text now is all going to be in what's called paragraph 2. So this is set themes that Wix will do. These are just basically to try and help you out and try and keep everything similar to each other on your web page. If you are wanting to customize it, of course you can. So we can change the text into various different formats. And of course with Wix, if you're wanting to, you can load your own fonts on there. As you can see, got a couple of different homegrown fonts on there. And we'll just put that into Arial Black at the moment. And of course your font size, whether or not it's bold, italic or underlined, is all done through here. Now the posts themselves will have a set design per post. As you can see from here, we've got a particular header text, then we've got a little bit of content, and the same for every other post, including an image. Again, if you want to change this, it's simply in here. And as you can see, we can change the font size as well, similar to what we did with the header. This will be in 2 different paragraphs, which can be easily changed. Again, just selecting your different font sizes. If you can't go above a certain size, it will stop you. It won't let the font get any bigger than what you've already made it. Now you'll notice there's a secondary page on here. This is what's known as your category pages. These are pages that you can set up to change or group certain blogs together. So if you've got one particular blog or group of blogs that's talking about a particular subject, they can be all grouped together. Again, it's something that you don't have to have. A lot of people just tend to have the blogs just running in an order, but it just depends on what your feed is like and of course what the community is like that you're actually interacting with. Now display is where you can change the options of what appears here. So if you're deciding that you're not actually going to have people being able to make a comment, or you're not going to have a members page, you can basically turn that off. That won't show then. Likes counter, knock that off as well. As you can see, I've knocked down the entire lower half of that board, which has actually made the blog post a little bit shorter. And the views, counted, comments and likes has been removed. So if you're deciding you're not going to have a members section, then you don't have to. You can even knock off the date and time of the blogs, and you can even knock off the author's name if you want. Now underneath this particular section, you've got a blog menu. In your blog menu, you've got your category labels, your search box, and of course you've got a login sign up button. So if you add that in there, as you can see, it's added it to our page. This allows people to become members. Again, if you're not wanting members, knock it in the head. The whole blog menu can be turned off if you are only going to keep 3 or 4 blogs running. On my personal site, I only have about a couple of blogs running at a time, so I don't have the blog menu. This is so that I'm only showing 3 posts maximum. Now on the site itself, if you are wanting to edit your actual posts, if you go onto your page and go into manage posts, it will load a separate window. From here, this is where you can create an additional post on your website. When you create a post, you'll have post settings and of course just little icons. So if we put in here Novus and then how to make a blog page, and if you look when you actually press return, you will get an additional plus. This is so you can add different elements onto the actual page. So if we went into add an image, I'm just going to add an image of a dog. That'll do. That will then populate that image into your actual blog itself at that particular point. You can still keep typing text underneath your image, creating what looks more like an article. And the image, of course, if you click into the settings, you can have a small image, a best fit. You'll also be able to do alignment. And then you've got image settings. Now in image settings, you can add a link to external devices. You can describe the image, doggo. You can tell more people about the image. And you've done with that. If you just click done, that will then add it to your site. Now your post settings will show you the different categories and SEO done regarding the post in general. From here you can knock off your cover image, and you can even change your cover image. If we just go back onto sites, again we'll just type in dog, and we'll add a different picture for the cover image. Now this won't appear in your blog itself, this will just appear on the front page. So if you're not wanting an actual image, you don't have to put one on there, but it does attract more attention if you do. And then what people have to search for this title on search engines. So if we put Novus talking about dogs, blogging dogs, and what this will show the preview that will appear on Google search engines. You can also change the date. So if you've actually come over to Wix from another service provider or a different website maker, and you've got previous blogs that you're wanting to add on there, say from July 2018, you can copy the blog over, create it new, and then change and actually put the publishing date as the previous date for the blog. Once you've done, you just save and then click publish. You can also save it as a draft if you are wanting just to create several blog posts all at once but not have them published just yet. That will now appear in your list. From your list you can duplicate, turn off commenting, or of course delete the post entirely if you're not happy with it. If you ever want to go back into the post, just click edit, and that will bring you back into the blog page. Any changes, once you click publish changes, will then be saved. We've now got a category of dogs. So if we go into our category section, press new category, dog. Doggo. About dogs. Again, I'm searching for another lovely image of doggos. There you are. Now once we've created a new category, we're wanting to sort of add this one into the dog section. So if we edit the post, go back into post sections and of course categories, click dog, save and publish. That will now add that post to our main page, but it will also add it onto the doggo category. Go back onto our page. Now as a default, Wix will always put the newest blogs to the top. Of course, the reason this one has been brought down to the bottom is because we put July the 18th, 2018 as the date. So if we didn't have that date on there, that would of course appear at the top. So if you are wanting to add blogs and you are wanting to put them in date order from a previous site, you can do, and it will put them into, rather than putting them into an order of when of course you're actually putting them onto the website, we'll just put them in a date order for you instead. Now let's have a quick review of this. And if we just go to our dog page, you can see we've just got our doggo. And that's pretty much it.